Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girbharadhari. Only one cartel. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girbharadhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girbharadhari. Jasodanandana Prajajanaranjana. Jasodanandana Prajajanaranjana. Jasodanandana Prajajanaranjana. Jasodanandana Prajajanaranjana. Jamunatira Vanacharim. Jamunatira Vanacharim. Jamunatira Vanacharim. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. What? Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Go Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Go Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Deva, ready? Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Radha, Radhanath, Radha, Radhanath, Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Gaura Hare, Gaura Hare, Gaura Hare, Jaya Gaura Hare. Nitya Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Go Premanande! There. Oh, you got the mic. Ravi, set the mic for me.
Thank you so much, Prem. Hare Krishna. Welcome to all of you today for our Sri Krishna Janmashtami celebrations. I must say that I feel very embarrassed to sit on the Vyasasan here today with so many senior Vaishnavas seated, particularly Brihad Maharaj. I really shouldn't be speaking in the association of such great devotees. You know, they should share their realized knowledge as compared to me. But Maharaj has very humbly asked me to continue. So we will try to serve Srila Prabhupada in this way. First, let us offer some prayers. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Didanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Vanchakalpa Chirubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Bevacha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Nityananda Mami Bhakti Chaitanya Prabhu Padanu Sevanam Shri Vajradhana Mahatmya Pradashakam Kapanam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 3, text 11. Sa Vishmaya Utpulha Vilojan Harim Sudham Vikolaya Anakha Dundula Tadham Krishna Avatara Utsava Sambrahmas Prashad Mudhadvi Jebhya Achutam Apalha Gunham. When Vasudeva saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas as a transcendental festival. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has analyzed the wonder of Vasudeva upon seeing his extraordinary child. Vasudeva was shivering with wonder to see a newborn child decorated so nicely with valuable garments and gems. He could immediately understand that the Supreme Personality of Godhead had appeared, not as an ordinary child, but in his original, fully decorated, four-handed form. The first wonder was that the Lord was not afraid to appear within the prison house of Kamsa, where Vasudeva and Devaki were interned. Second, although the Lord, the supreme transcendence, is all-pervading, he had appeared in the womb of Devaki. The third point of wonder, therefore, was that a child could take birth from the womb, so nicely decorated. Fourth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead was Vasudeva's worshipable deity, yet had taken birth as his son. For all these reasons, Vasudeva was transcendentally jubilant, and he wanted to perform a festival, as Kshatriyas do to celebrate the birth of a child. But because of his imprisonment, he was unable to do it externally, and therefore he performed the festival within his mind. This was just as good. If one cannot externally serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can serve the Lord within one's mind, since the activities of the mind are as good as those of the senses. This is called a non-dual or absolute situation. People generally perform ritualistic ceremonies for the birth of a child. Why then, Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Shriman Mahaprabhu Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. People generally perform ritualistic ceremonies for the birth of a child. Why then should Vasudeva not have performed such a ceremony when the Supreme Lord appeared as his son? At this time, in all directions, east, west, south, north, everywhere, there was an atmosphere of peace and prosperity. Auspicious stars were visible in the sky, and on the surface in all towns and villages or pasturing grounds, and within the mind of everyone, there were signs of good fortune. The rivers were flowing, full of water. The lakes were beautifully decorated with lotus flowers. The forests were full with beautiful birds and peacocks. All the birds within the forest began to sing with sweet voices. The peacocks began to dance with their consorts. The wind blew very pleasantly, calling the aroma of different flowers. And this sensation of bodily touch was very pleasing. At home, the Brahmanas who were accustomed to offer sacrifices in the fire found their homes very pleasant for offerings. Because of disturbances created by the demoniac kings, the sacrificial fire had been almost stopped in the houses of the Brahmanas. But now they could find the opportunity to start the fire peacefully. Being forbidden to offer sacrifices, the Brahmanas were very distressed in mind, intelligence, and activities. But just on the point of Krishna's appearance, automatically their minds became full of joy because they could hear loud vibrations in the sky of transcendental sounds proclaiming the appearance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. On the occasion of Lord Krishna's birth, seasonal changes took place throughout the entire universe. Krishna was born during the month of September. Yet it appeared like springtime. The atmosphere, however, was very cool, although not chilly, and the rivers and reservoirs appeared to just like they would in Ashrat. The fall. Lotuses and lilies bloomed during the day. But although Krishna appeared at 12 o'clock midnight, the lilies and lotuses were in bloom. And thus the wind blowing at that time was full of fragrance. Because of Kamsa's disturbances, the Vedic ritualistic ceremonies had almost stopped. The Brahmanas and saintly persons could not execute the Vedic rituals with peaceful minds. But now the Brahmanas were very pleased to perform their daily ritualistic ceremonies undisturbed. The business of the Asuras is to disturb the Suras, the devotees and the Brahmanas, but at the time of Krishna's appearance, these devotees and Brahmanas were undisturbed. So again, very quickly, let's go through the translation. When Vasudeva saw his extraordinary son, his eyes were struck with wonder. In transcendental jubilation, he mentally collected 10,000 cows and distributed them among the Brahmanas as a transcendental festival. So here we see, just to set the scene for those of you who are not so aware, Lord Krishna was born in the jailhouse of Kamsa. His parents were in prison because of Kamsa, the king, hearing that he will be killed by the child of Devaki, his sister. So in fear, he imprisoned both Vasudeva and Devaki, the parents of Lord Krishna. So a very beautiful narration is there of how the Supreme Personality manifests onto the material world and what the spiritual world actually is like. And everything kind of manifests for accepting Krishna's appearance. But why does Krishna descend? What is the main reasoning behind Krishna coming down? Specifically at this time, Krishna appeared to protect the devotees and to deal with the miscreants. In Bhagavad Gita 4.7, Srila Prabhupada emphasizes this in his purport. The verse goes like, Paritranaya, let me just go there, sorry. Paritranaya sadhana. I'm just looking for my notes. I kind of lost it, sorry. Paritranaya sadhanam vinashaya cha diskritam. So Krishna comes to protect his devotees and to destroy the wicked and re-establish Dharma. But there's even deeper reasons why Krishna would appear. As we know, Krishna is transcendental. He doesn't actually take birth in the material sense. Here we see that Krishna manifests within the heart. He's always manifest within the heart, but he manifested himself specifically to Devaki. And then when he was externally manifested, he wasn't like an ordinary child who would be born without any clothing or would just be crying. And this just proves how Krishna is actually the Supreme Lord, where he manifests in full dress, like Radhavadanath, full armored with his weapons, with his jewelry, with his yellow dhoti. And this didn't bewilder his father Vasudeva when he saw him. He understood that this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yes. So, again, why did Krishna manifest? Why did Krishna manifest? Krishna manifested specifically, well, for these reasons that we have explained, but also at the plea of his devotees. Many of the devotees were very distraught with how Kamsa was ruling, how Kamsa was treating them. And at that time, many children were being killed throughout the entire area because of Kamsa's fear. It disturbed all of the devotees. The Brahmanas, as we read, the Brahmanas could not continue with any of their sacrifices, any of their worship because of Kamsa and his men. So he manifests by the call of his devotees. Just like in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, again Lord Chaitanya manifested by the call of his devotees. And then there's the analogy that's given of the sun. Just as the sun appears to rise and set on the horizon, its movements are not actually contained by our view. The sun is always present. Similarly, Krishna's birth is merely his divine appearance. He is ever existent, never subject to birth or death. Just as we see the sun that's always placed at any area, when you turn around no matter where you are, and the sun is visible. You feel the sun on your head. You can see the sun. The sun is totally visible to you. Likewise, Krishna is always manifest within the heart. Krishna is there in the super soul. So, what is the need then for Krishna to externally manifest? For his pastimes to continue in the material world, which becomes revealed to our eyes. Krishna's now answering the plea of the devotees and manifesting to save the devotees, to prove that he will stand by his devotees. Secondly, there's another analogy in that same verse, that purport, or at least in this chapter, where Krishna enters the world like an expert anchor, anchor entering a play, not forced, but by his own choice, demonstrating his unlimited potency and control over the material laws, which are of his own energies. So Krishna is not bound by the material energies. In fact, he creates everything. Nothing, not even a blade of grass, would move without Krishna sanctioning it. Yet, naturally, within the material world, a child would be born according to the laws of material nature. Yet, Krishna never manifests that when he came to the material world. The whole process of Krishna manifesting and the whole activities that followed of how Krishna was placed in Vrindavan with Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, it's all transcendental. These things are not natural. It would not be able to just happen with anyone. Yet again, as Srila Prabhupada stated, Vasudeva was not bewildered. He was not bewildered by it. Any ordinary person, any one of, at least for me, just seeing these things, we would feel totally bewildered, distraught even, that, this is my child. What has happened? Instead of him being born like a normal child, he's manifest in this way where I can't even understand him. But Vasudeva, being so devoted, such a great devotee, he could understand that all of these things are happening because this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And my son has manifest in this way to save us, to save all of his devotees. So Krishna simultaneously manifested his four-armed Vishnu form from birth, teaching that the Supreme Lord is not born from matter and does not manifest from matter, but manifests his form eternally. Krishna appeared in the material world just as he is in the spiritual world, with his Tribhanga form, as Radhanath is standing right now. And of course, Krishna has his universal form, which is also a little bewildering. Many heads, many arms, and that sort of thing. But for the love of his devotees, he appeared in this way so that it's more relishable. It's more acceptable in one sense, but more relishable with his sweet Tribhanga form. Srila Prabhupada explains that Krishna's birth and his activities and his form are all totally transcendental. Realizing realizing this totally liberates us. Janma karma chame divyam. Bhagavad Gita 4:9. Krishna does not take birth under the laws of karma or material nature. He controls them. So while Krishna comes to protect the pious and eliminate all evil, the real intimate reason in the hearts of the acharyas is to delight his pure devotees and to enact sweet pastimes that attract us to Krishna and to the spiritual world. His descent is for the joy of his devotees that and to rekindle our very lost relationship with him. Krishna's birth in person, Krishna's birth in the prison of Kamsa is an invitation for us to invite him into our hearts, especially when we are imprisoned by this ignorance. So in the material world, we, in somewhat unfortunate, because not everything is revealed to us. However, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, everything is revealed within Srila Prabhupada's books, Srila Prabhupada's followers. And like that, the message of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of how to go back, how to appreciate Krishna and how to go back home, back to Godhead, is given to us by the process of chanting Hare Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, there is 2 verses that sum up, well, one verse that sums up, but I'll say 2 verses. It's called the Parivasha Sutra. So what is a Parivasha Sutra? It is the one verse that encapsulates the entire book, the entire scripture itself. Like we have in Srimad Bhagavatam and we have in Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. In Bhagavad Gita, we have that Parivasha Sutra, which totally encapsulates what Bhagavad Gita is about. And this is the process of how one can go back home. 1865, 1866. Man manabhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuro mam evasyasi satyam te pratijana priya asime. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me and offer homage unto me. Thus, you will come to me without fail. I promise you this because you are very dear to me. Here Lord Krishna is saying that we should worship him. This is our purpose in one sense. We came from the spiritual world because we couldn't understand our connection with Krishna any longer. We became a little bit envious. And so Krishna said, okay, if you would like to enjoy, you would like to experience what it's like to be the Lord, no problem. I'll create a facility for you. And he created the earthly planet. And within the earthly realm, Krishna's placed us so that we can understand our eternal position with Krishna, that we are the servants of Krishna. And how do we get this now? How do we realize that Krishna is the Supreme Personality and we should serve Krishna, we should worship him, we should surrender unto him? Sarva dharman parityajya mam hekam sharanam praja aham tvam sarva papyebhyo mukshayasyami ma suchaha. And that's Bhagavad Gita 1866, where Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reaction. Do not fear. So here we have it. How does one associate with the Lord? We serve the Lord. We serve him in different forms. We serve him as Radha Radhanath, as the deity form. We serve him in his holy name. Because Krishna is fully manifest within his holy name. By chanting Hare Krishna, we are serving Krishna. At the same time, we are begging for devotional service. Likewise, we serve Krishna by serving his devotees. The devotees, Krishna is manifest within the heart, as we have said. So we serve Krishna in this way, which pleases Krishna so much more than just direct service to him. By serving his devotees, so much more becomes revealed. Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashena sevaya upadikshanti te jnanam jnanivas tad padarshina. Just by surrendering, by serving, by surrendering to a self-realized soul, one, by having already that knowledge, he can impart knowledge unto you. And this is our process. This is how one has to surrender to Krishna in order to be able to go back to Krishna. So this is the mood that one should imbibe. The mood of Janmashtami should be that I want to serve. I want to serve. During Janmashtami, it's so enlivening. I definitely feel so enlivened just by seeing the beautiful mood that the devotees manifest in awe and reverence, in service to the Lord, to the conditioned souls. The hub of Janmashtami is just inexplicable, actually. We just cannot explain it. For months on end, the devotees are just planning so many different things to bring everyone closer to Krishna, to Radhavadana. And I see it firsthand. I've seen it more this year than before. Festivals are mothers of devotion. And during this time, the mercy flows far greater than it ever would. On your birthday, you feel more merciful. You feel happier. If somebody has to ask you for something, you most likely would give it without any sort of hesitation. Likewise, on Vyasa Puja days, the Guru is more merciful, the birthday. And Krishna on his the day that he manifests, he's also much more merciful. Much more merciful. It's like when Lord Jagannath goes out into the streets for the Rath Yatra. He's much more merciful, so happy, and giving the mercy so much more freely to everybody that just is within the vicinity of Lord Jagannath. In the same way, on Janmashtami, Krishna is so much more merciful. We see that generally there's rules and regulations of how one can serve the deity. We have to be second initiated. We have to be pujari clean. We have to bathe before. We can't eat or drink and that kind of thing. So many different rules and regulations in serving the deity. Yet on Janmashtami, Radhastami, the deities come out. They come out of the altar in a more merciful way, engaging everybody, allowing everybody to freely come closer to serve them. Often we'll see when the deities go out on the palanquin, everybody's engaged in showering flower petals on the deities. For Radhastami, we see many devotees are preparing cakes, not in the altar environment, not in the deity kitchen. And very mercifully, the deity is accepting all of these things because it's their appearance day. And there's praman for this. There's praman in Pancharatrika of how the deity form is so much more merciful during festivals. So the devotees, in the same way, feeling this mood of Krishna and his great mercy, freely distribute this mercy to everybody who comes. And those who don't come as well, the devotees go out to them. Having realized this truth, having realized this love, having realized that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Lord of my heart, the devotees go out and bring the conditioned souls back to Krishna. We see many thousands of devotees come forward yesterday, more today. Many thousands of devotees will be here at the Radhavadana temple. And for for you who have experienced this love, let us all welcome all of them with that love, with that mercy of Radha Vadanath fully manifesting in you, within you. Let us bring these conditioned souls back to the lotus feet of Radha Vadanath. And that would be the true mood of Janmashtami. Krishna appearing within the hearts of his devotees, by the call of his devotees to liberate his devotees, to liberate everybody. I think we'll stop there. Are there any questions, comments, corrections? Maharaj, anything you'd like to add? Sri Krishna Prabhu. Jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Devadeva Prabhu. We're very happy to hear you speak. So good. And for me, the emphasis and realizations that you have that came out, particularly in the latter part about when you start referring to the Pancharatrika and the Pramans. So because that's your field as well. And we also want to compliment you and your team for the very, very beautiful darshan that we had. So, which you always do to give us this transcendental experience. So thank you so much. I'd just like you to please explain, this will be something that's in your specialty. When in the verse it says that Vasudeva gave away Manasa, so many thousands of cows. So in the worship of the deities also that principle is there. But Manasa, so could you please explain a little bit about it? Thank you.
Thank you, Sri Krishna Prabhu. I cannot take the glory of the service of the devotees. I've done nothing really here. Jai. So Manasa means within the mind. And everything can be manifest within the mind. The same benefit is given as compared to actually physically doing it. Now that doesn't mean that because the same benefit is there, we do not, our thousands of preparations today for Radha Vadanath, we do not offer these beautiful garlands, and the garland makers who took, 18 hours to make these garlands, and so forth. It doesn't mean that we don't continue with that process of devotional service, of practical devotional service. What it means is that when the facility is not so manifest to us, if we could not afford these thousands of rands to make these outfits and these garlands and so forth, we pray we never get to that stage. If we could not, actually manifest that, it wasn't there. Just like with Vasudeva, he was within the confines of the prison house. And he didn't know that the gates are just going to open and the river is going to separate, and every facility is going to be created for him. He didn't know that. But he, as a realized devotee, as a brahmana, he knew the process, that the benefit will still be there. When a child is born in the Brahmanical culture, automatically they give in charity. They give in charity. And one of the highest forms of charity is to give cows, the mother of devotion. So he in his mind, he decided, because I can't do it physically, and I know that there's praman for this, I know that this can be done, then let me manifest it within my mind, and I will offer these cows in the mind. And the benefit is actually just the same. It's just the same. But the restriction is there. If it's not manifest directly, sometimes we may be traveling, and we travel with personal deities, and then you muchi, you can't really take a shower at that time and so forth. And we would serve the deity within the mind, but it's not that we should do it every day, because this whole process of the Achavigraha is to purify our hearts, to purify us and engage us in devotional service. In one sense, this is the main reason why Radhavadana are manifest here. Yes, to attract everybody, just as Krishna manifests on Janmashtami, to attract the hearts of everyone. Radhavadana as well, they manifest in this way, to attract everyone that comes here and to give their mercy. But at the same time, Radhavadana, the deity form, Krishna manifests within the deity form for accepting our devotional service. Our devotional service. So we should serve the Lord in every which way possible, physically. Yes, we should serve the Lord physically. But if that is not possible, then we serve the Lord within our heart, within the mind. So everything, the love within the heart is transferred in one sense, within the mind. And everything is done exactly how it's done when it would have been done in person. The same mantras would have been chanted, the same cooking spices, the same Panchamrita, different substances that are bathing the deities. Everything is there. And it's manifest within the mind. It's acceptable. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Well, one more question. Prabhu first and then.
Hare Krishna. This question I'm going to ask is a little bit out of context, but I feel like it's really relevant. So Maharaj yesterday was giving a very beautiful class, and this question was actually meant for you, Maharaj, but you couldn't you couldn't take questions yesterday. So I feel like this is a great opportunity for me to ask. So my question is, Maharaj is telling us about how we should surrender to Krishna fully, no excuses, always chant your rounds and just no distractions, all the social media and all these shenanigans that we have every day. We should just stop all that and just surrender to Krishna. So the question I wanted to ask Maharaj is that what if one never really fully surrenders to Krishna, but they chant when they can and they serve when they can, probably never even get initiated and all that. What's going to happen at the time of death? Will you come back, or will Krishna be merciful, or what do you think would happen?
Maharaj, would you like to answer? Oh. Okay. So much on the spot here. Yes, so if one chants the holy name of the Lord just once, one can be liberated. That's there, Lord Chaitanya stated. Lord Chaitanya promises that if you have led your life in a Krishna conscious way, you've been chanting, you've been pious, He will personally manifest that you will go back home, back to Godhead. So that promise is there. However, we should also try to become serious in Krishna consciousness. Not just, I'll chant now and not chant then. Our Acharya, our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada, gave us a system which we should follow. And chanting 1 or 2 rounds is not, it's nice at the entry level, but we should aspire to always, go to a higher level. There's the pastime of Ajamil, where Ajamil chanted the name of his son. He led a pious life and then he wasn't so pious anymore. And he chanted the name Narayan, which was the name of Krishna, the name of the Lord. But he didn't chant it with the intention of calling out to the Lord at the time of death. He chanted the name Narayan because he was thinking of his dear son. But the mere reason, the fact that he chanted the Lord's holy name, he eventually went back. Of course, there's this whole dramatical narration of how the Vishnudutras and the Yamadutras are fighting with each other, negotiating, but actually fighting. That no, he led the sinful life. No, he chanted the name of Hari. So it's there, and maybe there'll be that sort of situation. We pray it will not be there, but maybe it would be there. But Lord Chaitanya has promised us, you chant Krishna's names, then at the time of death, he will make the arrangement. What does that mean? It means that he will force you to remember him. It could mean that somehow the holy name appears into your mind. It could mean that the devotee care team come to hospital and chant. It could mean that some sort of something reminds you of the Lord. Just maybe a doctor is a devotee. Maybe a nurse is a devotee. There's so many different things that Krishna would be able to manifest just to save you. Krishna is the all-merciful Lord. And we should not think that he is not our ever well-wisher. Because he is. He's our ever well-wisher. There's no better way to put that, ever well-wisher. So that guarantee is there. But, however, let us try our very best to not call the Yamadutras there. Let us try our very best to chant our 16 rounds, to be firm, following the regulated principles. And if you just chant those 16 rounds a day, even if it is not chanted with the purest of heart, even if it is not fully fixed on the Lord, every single syllable, every single mantra, just do it. Just do it. My great mentor, Brihad Maharaj, told us once, fake it until you make it. Chant, 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 until it becomes pure chanting. Because if you don't practice, you'll never get there. You'll never get there. So let us chant 16 rounds. We try, we get up to that stage, start with something in the minimum stage, carry on, let us get up. Chant our 16 rounds, follow the 4 regular principles, eat prasadam, associate with the devotees, you will be protected. Srila Prabhupada guaranteed us. Just chant your 16 rounds. Once Srila Prabhupada said, after he chanted these rounds, he just put his bead back down and he said, now I can do any damn thing. So he can do anything because he's fully protected. Fully protected. So let us be protected by the holy name. Okay, I hope that answers.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. There's another question. Maharaj, have I answered the question? Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Yes.
You were speaking about service in awe and reverence and servitorship. So, I read that the Lord in his form as Narayan accepts 2.5 types of rasas. Santa, Dasya, and Gaurava, Sakya.
Mm-hmm.
And in his form as Krishna, he accepts the other 2.5 rasas, which is Vishramba, Sakya, that is friendship in equality, and parental, and Madhurya. So, when you're worshipping the deity, like Ayat Prabhupada said that you're worshipping in the mood of Lakshmi Narayan. Yes, so I
You
just
want
want
some clarity
some,
on that. Okay.
yeah.
Maharaj. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada multiple times expressed that one should, within ISKCON, he wants us to worship the deity form in the mood of awe and reverence. So much so that the deity worship ministry collated all of these verses and purports and letters of Srila Prabhupada guiding us on how the mood of worship should be within ISKCON temples. there's a resolution, a GBC resolution 2021, which is called Mood of Worship. And it's all stated there. I can share that with you after the class. So, Srila Prabhupada specifically wanted us to worship in the mood of awe and reverence as we would worship Lakshmi Narayan. It means worshipping Radha Krishna in the mood of worshipping Lakshmi Narayan with all opulence. That does not mean that Krishna in our temple is actually manifest as Lakshmi Narayan. They are actually manifest as Radha and Krishna. However, if we get too much into the esoteric pastimes of Radha and Krishna, we can lose focus. We can lose focus. And we can become a little bewildered if we're not on the level where we can accept and understand that this is all transcendental. So, Krishna is manifest in the form of his Istribanga form. And Srila Prabhupada gave us this pinnacle of worship for Radha and Krishna in all of our temples. But he wanted us to worship in this mood of great opulence. Great opulence. That doesn't mean now that one cannot serve Radha and Krishna in the mood of being a servant. And Krishna doesn't accept it as the servant. He will accept it. In fact, we can worship Krishna in any of these different rasas. And it even may manifest and change over time. However, generally these rasas are not so manifest in the material world unless one is more advanced. It's more manifest in the spiritual world. So Srila Prabhupada, understanding this, that we are not on the level where we can understand these different rasas to the highest degree. I'm not saying that we're not intelligent and we can't understand it. At least theoretically we can understand it, but fully manifest within the hearts of who we are. Yes, we are eternally spirit souls who are eternal servants of the Lord. But in the spiritual world, it's different. We are still servants, but we have different services that will govern what your role is and what your relationship is in the spiritual world, parental or, so forth. So, Srila Prabhupada wanted us to serve as servants, at least in the beginning stages. And deity worship is, I hate to say this, it may sound contradictory, but deity worship in the sense is for those who are in the beginning stages. And that does not mean because we are initiated, because we're second initiated, we are the highest in, in the society. Yes, we are the leaders. Brahmanas are leaders in the society. However, it is the beginning of our service to the deity. Initiation allows us that thread, that Gayatri mantra that just starts the service to the deity. So Srila Prabhupada allowed us this. He allowed us to serve the deity in this mood. He wanted us to serve the deity in this mood, not artificially trying to manifest different rasas, different moods, different relationships. I hope, does that answer? Yeah. We don't want that. Okay. You want to add anything, Marj? No. Thank you. Okay, we'll stop there. I would like to say there's breakfast, but there's no breakfast. We are fasting today, but there is prasad for those who are not able to fast, who have to, who are aged or they are children who have to take some prasad. Please take some prasad. For the rest of you, I will join you at midnight or after the RT in taking prasad. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.